All right, let's dive into a Premier League matchup that, might not be a classic rivalry like some others, but Brentford against Liverpool, it's become a game you don't want to miss.
Yeah. No, it really shows how the Premier League is changing,
Yeah.
evolving.
You've got Brentford, a newer team in the top league, going up against, a giant like Liverpool.
Absolutely.
And we're going to break down what makes these games so interesting. We'll look at Brentford's climb, how strong Liverpool has been, and then how those different styles play out on the field.
And what's really cool is this isn't just like a small team versus a big team story.
Right.
Brentford knows who they are. They have a plan.
Yeah.
And they've shown they can shake things up.
Okay. So let's talk about Brentford. Their manager, Thomas Frank, lots of people say he's like a tactical genius.
Yeah.
He's built a really competitive team, even though they don't have the money that, some of the big teams like Liverpool have. What's their secret?
It's not magic, but it's close. Frank, he's given Brentford a clear way to play. Strong defense, super fast counterattacks, and they're amazing at set pieces. They don't back down from anyone, like that 3-3 draw against Liverpool a few seasons back.
I remember that game.
Yeah.
It was like Brentford saying, hey, we're here to play too. They don't just sit back and defend,
Right. Yeah.
They actually go after teams and make it hard for anyone.
Exactly. But a big part of their success, it comes from data. They were early adopters of this specific data analysis to find players that other teams, I guess, underestimated.
Oh.
It's how they found player name before anyone else saw how good he was.
Well, it's not just luck. There's a real thought out plan behind how well they're doing.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, if they can do this with what they have, what could other teams do if they had the right approach?
Yeah.
Now, on the other side, you've got Liverpool, a team with so much history, fans all around the world, and under their manager, Jurgen Klopp, they've become, I guess, famous for that super high energy attacking style of play.
Klopp has totally changed things there.
Yeah.
He's not just won trophies. He's brought in this philosophy that is, it's amazing to watch, and it really works. That constant pressing, attacking in waves, that's what they're known for. And then you have their star players.
Oh, yeah. You can't talk about Liverpool without mentioning players like Darwin Nunez, Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz.
Right.
These guys can change a game in an instant.
And it's not just that they're individually great, it's how they play within Liverpool's system. Think of Nunez's runs. He pulls defenders out of position, and that opens up space for Salah and Diaz to cut inside. It's really like a coordinated attack, constant threat.
And for Liverpool, every single game is so important. They're always fighting for a title, for a top spot in the league. They can't afford to slip up.
That's right.
Which makes these games against Brentford even more interesting.
It does, because Brentford has their own goals, right?
Yeah.
Maybe finishing in the top half of the table, qualifying for European competition. Every point they take from a team in the top 6 gets them closer to those goals.
So you've got a team that's hungry to prove themselves playing against a team that can't afford to lose. It's got to make for a pretty intense game.
Yeah.
And talking about players to watch, we've got to mention Darwin Nunez. He's become really important for Liverpool's attack.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the speed, the power, and he finishes with such precision.
He's the defender's nightmare. Imagine a backline trying to stay organized, then suddenly Nunez makes this run, pulling defenders out of position, creating gaps for his teammates.
Okay, but think about that speed and power going up against Brentford's defense, which is known for being really organized. This is where the tactics get really interesting.
Absolutely. It's a clash of styles.
Yeah.
You've got Liverpool, who love to have the ball, attack.
Yeah.
And then you have Brentford, who are so disciplined in defense, and they hit you with those lightning fast counterattacks.
So how does Brentford, with, I guess, fewer resources, how do they even start to play against a team like Liverpool that's built to dominate?
That's where Thomas Frank's tactics are so impressive.
Yeah.
They know that trying to match Liverpool's attack for the whole game would be, a disaster.
Yeah.
Instead, they might use a formation with 5 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 2 strikers, crowding the midfield, trying to shut down Liverpool's creativity.
So force them to play long balls, which is something Brentford is really good at defending.
Exactly. Brentford waits for the right moment, and then they strike. That's what makes these games so unpredictable.
And for Brentford, these games against the top 6 teams, it's more than just points. It's a way to see how far they've come to compare themselves to the best.
And for Liverpool, dropping points to a team like Brentford could really hurt them in the race for the title. The top teams are so close in points,
Right.
Every point matters.
Okay, so we've got the scene set. Two teams with different styles, high stakes, and a history of some really exciting games. Let's talk about some of those memorable moments, shall we?
All right. Let's go back to January 2022. Liverpool just dominated that day. Easy 3-0 win. Goals from Fabinho, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Minamino. Yeah, that was classic Liverpool. Just clinical and efficient.
A dominant performance for sure, but let's not forget that 3-3 draw from the season before. Brentford just wouldn't give up.
Oh, yeah.
And they were so good at scoring their chances.
And that game wasn't just about the goals. It was about those specific moments. Remember that free kick routine Brentford pulled off?
Oh, yeah.
Textbook example of their set-piece skills, how they can surprise even teams that are really well prepared.
It shows how stats can be deceiving. Liverpool might have more of the ball and more shots, but Brentford being so good at scoring their chances, that's huge.
Exactly. It highlights something really important about football. It's not just about how much talent you have or how much money you spend. It's about how you use what you've got.
Yeah.
And Brentford is a masterclass in that.
It's that strategic thinking, making the most of their strengths. That's allowed them to compete with the big teams and become a real threat in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
It's inspiring.
Totally. You can see it in how they play these games.
Yeah.
Brentford, they don't just try to hang on, survive.
Right.
They play with this confidence that can really get to even the most experienced teams.
So they're changing what it means to be the underdog in the Premier League.
Yeah, they are.
Now, this makes me think about the Premier League as a whole. Why is it so popular all over the world?
Well, think about what we've been talking about. The competition, the drama.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to win. Any team can beat any other team on any given day.
Right.
Brentford versus Liverpool, it's a perfect example of what makes the Premier League so exciting.
You're watching these games and you're on the edge of your seat because you really have no idea how it's going to end.
Exactly. And it's not just about the 90 minutes on the field. It's the stories that happen throughout the season. The fight for the title, the teams trying not to get relegated, the players who become stars.
Okay, so back to Brentford and Liverpool. What are some of the key tactical things you're going to be looking for in their next match? What could determine the outcome?
Well, for Brentford, it's all about stopping Liverpool's attack.
Yeah.
Can they keep that defensive discipline we talked about?
Right.
Can they limit the space for players like Salah and Diaz?
Right.
And really important, can they disrupt Liverpool's high pressing?
I'm really interested to see how Brentford handles Liverpool's fullbacks. They're such a big part of how Liverpool attacks. If Brentford can stop them, it could really mess up Liverpool's whole plan.
It's a good point. Liverpool's fullbacks are basically playmakers,
Right.
providing width, always pushing forward. So on the other hand, can Liverpool break down Brentford's defense? They'll want to control the pace of the game, have most of the possession, and create those, really good scoring chances.
And what about Darwin Núñez? Where does he fit into all of this? We've talked about his movement and how well he finishes. Could he be the one who makes the difference for Liverpool?
He definitely could.
Yeah.
But it depends on if his teammates can get him the ball. He needs those creative players like Salah and Diaz to find him in those dangerous positions.
Right.
And don't forget about Brentford's center backs.
Right.
They've been great at stopping fast strikers this season.
Yeah.
So it'll be a real test for Núñez.
This is where the tactical battle between the managers gets really interesting. Thomas Frank and Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
They're both so good at adapting their strategies during a game.
Imagine you're the manager. You've looked at the other team, you know their strengths and weaknesses, and now you're trying to guess what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
It's a game within the game.
All right, so final thoughts. What's your prediction for the next Brentford-Liverpool game? What should people be paying attention to?
It's tough to make predictions, especially in a matchup like this. But I will say, this game almost never disappoints.
Yeah.
You've got the tactical side, the amazing individual players, and you just don't know what's going to happen. That's what keeps you glued to the screen.
It's more than just a game, isn't it? It's like watching a story unfold.
It is.
Every match adds a new chapter to this rivalry.
And it makes you think, can Brentford keep getting better? Can they become one of the top teams? Maybe even compete in European competitions?
Now that's something to think about. When you watch the next Brentford-Liverpool match, think about this. Could Brentford's way of doing things be the future of football? Is it possible to compete with the big teams without spending huge amounts of money?
And what will you be focusing on during the match?
Yeah.
The tactics, the players. or just the excitement of two teams going at it in one of the most captivating leagues in the world.
That's what's so great about this sport. It's more than just a game. It's a story that unfolds with every match, every goal, every save. And we can't wait to see what happens next. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that passion for football alive.
Makes you wonder if other clubs are taking notes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Could Brentford be like a model for how to challenge the big guys?
It proves that if you think strategically, recruit smartly, and have a clear vision,
Yeah.
you can shake things up. And for you listening, that should be inspiring. It shows that in football, just like in life, anything's possible if you do it the right way.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Brentford versus Liverpool, what are you most excited to see in their next game? What will you be watching for?
Will you be watching that tactical battle play out on the pitch, trying to guess Thomas Frank's next move?
Yeah.
Or, will you be amazed by Jurgen Klopp's adjustments during the game?
Or maybe you'll be focused on those one-on-one matchups. Can Brentford's defense hold up against players like Salah and Nunez? Will we see another, incredible play from a Brentford player that totally changes the momentum?
It doesn't really matter what you focus on. One thing's for sure. Brentford versus Liverpool, it's a game that always delivers drama, excitement, and it gives you a look at how the Premier League is changing.
It reminds us that this league is more than just a bunch of games. It's a collection of stories, rivalries, and dreams.
And in that collection, Brentford versus Liverpool is a story that's getting more and more interesting, harder and harder to ignore.
So keep an eye out for the next chapter in this story. You never know what's going to happen. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep loving the beautiful game.